friends, we are going to discuss the many-to-many relationship. Many to many, right? We also denote it as m to n so that you don't have like 3 to 3, 4 to 4. It can be 2 to 5, anything. So this example, we are going to take two entities, and we are going to have a student entity and a rental car entity. The student entity has characteristics as student ID, student F name, student date of birth, and student gender. The rental car has the rental car ID, the rental car model, rental car color. We'll frame the scenario like this. A student goes to the college. He can rent a car whenever he goes to the college. If he is on leave, he is not going to rent a car. Okay. And a car will be rented by one student for a day. So the next day, another student may rent that car. So we have two entities here. One is the student entity. One is the student entity. The other is the rental car. A student can rent many cars. He may rent a car today, he may rent another car tomorrow, right? And if he is not going to college today, he may not rent a car. And if there is a student who has decided not to go to college at all, then he is not going to rent any car. In that scenario, it is 0 or more cars. Clear? So then, a car can be rented by one or more students. Okay? And if you have an old model car, right, a very old model car that no one wants to ride on it, right, then obviously that car is not going to be rented by anyone. So you can have it as 0 or more. Okay. Now this is a many-to-many relationship, and in databases, when you go for the fully attributed model or a physically attributed model, you eliminate many-to-many relationships and transform them as intermediates of one-to-many, which means you have a student entity, you have a rental car entity, right? And you have a bridge entity. You have a bridge entity where you have the relationships transformed like this. So I will get in detail with an example by explaining this scenario. Let us now look at the rental car and the student. So every table has a primary key. Here student ID is the primary key. Here our car ID is the primary key. And we discussed that we will be adding a bridge entity, right? So let us have this bridge entity name as reservation. Okay, so in the reservation, what am I going to do? I'm going to take the student ID and I'm going to take the R car ID. So the student ID 101 may rent the car TN9499 on a date today. The student 102 may rent the car KL2628. So in this case, this student ID is the foreign key as it refers here. This R car ID is the foreign key as it refers here. And since it doesn't have a standalone primary key, you combine these to have as the primary foreign key. Okay. So this is a composite primary key, and individually they are also foreign keys. Okay. So when I come back to this relationship, every entry here, right, it belongs to one and only one student, and this belongs to one and only one rental car. And every student may be related with 0 or more relationship to the bridge, and the rental car also may have multiple relationships here. Okay. Good. So realistically speaking, you can replace this bridge by the name reservation, and we take this as a reservation, and we say this reservation entity is a weak entity, right? It cannot exist without the student and our car entity. Therefore, we say this as an identifying relationship. So a weak entity identifies itself there, whereas the other relationships that we saw, they were all non-identifying. I hope this has given you an insight into many-to-many relationships. Thank you.